full tank of gas, load up, grab a new shirt, hit the road. Here we are. Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Another
Safe and
episode
sound.
of Hammered, and we've got Mr. Jeff Drum, a.k.a. Sweet Willy, in the house.
Sweet Willy in town. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Everything's love, man. Great to be here.
Hey, by the way, I like to sneak up, and, we're started the show now.
Yeah,
So
well, it's cool. It doesn't matter. I'm glad to be here.
I feel like he picked up on that.
It's an invitation.
He's sharp. He knows.
I felt like you rolled right into us. I was like, yeah, hit me with it. Hit me with it.
So how was that drive, man, from Jacksonville?
Wasn't bad at all. It was a good day to come out here because it was a good, clear day and nobody on the road as far as my end. But when you started getting closer into Raleigh, the traffic picks up and everybody gets a little bit more chaotic. But, yeah, it was good, man. Appreciate y'all inviting me up on such a nice day to come visit you.
Well, we appreciate you coming, good sir.
Well, so here's what we're going to do here. We got Sweet Willy in the house. We met you a couple of weeks ago down at Plus Dual and Piano Bar. You were so we were with a group, and we're over there talking, and you were up dancing on a pole like a little stage.
No. Come on, you got
Sweet Willy, you got long hair and all. We didn't mistake you for a stripper.
Yeah.
To set the record
But,
straight, it was not a pole.
So
That's not how Sweet Willy makes his income.
it was a column.
There you go.
and
It was a dancing column.
Stage was built around it. Not really a stage, more like a big.
Yeah, I
rock.
felt like that was my own little
Yeah.
dancing platform up there. That's
And
the way.
you
That's the
were
way.
owning it.
That's
for
why when I
sure.
visit up there, I like to entertain the crowd a little bit and get out of everybody's way. So that just happens to be a good place to stand and be.
Well,
You caught
so
our attention.
a member of our group pointed you out, and they were like, "Look, it's Garth from Wayne's World." And so we laughed, and then all of a sudden you grabbed your harmonica and went up and started playing with the. Oh, you got your harmonica
Oh my God,
with
he
you.
brought
Oh, man.
it.
So I was like, "Oh my God, that dude's really good with the harmonica." And I looked at Laura. I was like, "We have to talk to this guy and get him on the show." Seemed interesting. So went over, gave you a card, and bam, here we go.
Fun side story in the approaching process, because you were dancing all around that column. So we had to split up and kind of corner you. So Mike went one way, I went another way. And we convened on you on the corner of this column. And I'm like, give him a card.
Yeah, well, that was exactly how I seen you. I was up there having fun, and Tony and all them, they always invite me to come a couple times whenever I have a chance to slide up there. And he lets me play a song or two, and he says, come and visit them. And so when I get up there, I like to have the whole crowd get into it, not just the band. So I like to walk around and introduce and shake hands and make people smile. And so that was funny that you just caught that groove, that vibe, and decided to walk up there. And,
Yeah, man.
But I definitely appreciate you offering me the card. And the next day or two, I took the card and I went back home. And first of all, I said to my son, my son's name's Tanner. He's my buddy. And I looked at Tanner. I say, hey, man, last night I was having a good time at Raleigh, dancing, playing harmonica. And this couple came up to me and gave me a card. And he asked me to be on a podcast. And I looked at him. I said, what's a podcast? I had no idea what even a podcast was.
Yeah.
So cute.
Little did we know that you've got a lot going on yourself. Sweet Willy's Beach Blitz coming up next year, which is a surfing contest / bikini contest / cornhole tournament. We're going to talk about that later on, more later.
Excellent.
But I looked at Laura. I was like, "Wow, we got Jackpot here. This guy's got all kinds of shit going on. Let's get him on the show."
Sure.
And then you had us up this past weekend, and we went fishing, tried to catch some king mackerels.
Exactly.
One person did catch a king mackerel. That was Laura.
Y'all tried. I did.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming down and want to offer you. You invited me. I wanted to catch you down there and be involved in some of the island style living that I am involved in. So you came down there, and I'm glad you took it.
And I love Emerald Isle. I love how familial it is. It's quiet. It's clean. When I go to the beach, I want to scoot up Atlantic Beach and then scoot down to this kind of deserted section of the coast where we're smack between Emerald Isle and Atlantic Beach. So I love that area.
Yeah, it's in between Indian Beach, Salter Path area, and then you get up to Pino Shores and them area in between Emerald Isle and Atlantic Beach. Emerald Isle is kind of They really keep it really nice, and their tax value is high, but they have they keep the streets, they got all the sidewalks for bike riding. I mean, they really take care of that end of the island. Actually, the whole island is really nice. And I've been on the island for 52 years is how long I've been on that little spot down there.
So if that's not a plug for Emerald Isle, I don't know what is.
Emerald Isle, the clean beach.
If you show up, you really don't leave.
Exactly,
52 years later.
Well, my mom, she found it out. My dad was military. They stayed at Camp Lejeune and got stationed there, but my mom was a camping nut. And she sniffed out the island, found a little ferry. The years back, you had to get over on the island with a ferry. So she took the ferry ride over there, enjoyed it so much that she found one of the original 5 owners of that development of that end of the island back in the early 60s. And she made an offer for one of the lots. And back in them days, she gave him $3,000 for a lot right there on Emerald Isle, which the same lot right now is about $350,000 just for the lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're actually some of the oldest living locals. Well, my dad just passed a year and a half ago, but my mom's still one of the oldest living locals on that end of Emerald Isle. You know, she's 88 years old and been there since 68 and started off in a tent. And now we have a nice house and live on the island, so it's excellent.
Well, let's start it from the beginning. Let's talk about the evolution of Sweet Willy. How did Jeff Drum become Sweet Willy? Where are you from
right
originally?
There. It's pretty cool, man. I got to be blessed, you know, from an early time. I mean, when my mom found the island, we started camping out over there. Camp Ocean Forest is still there, and it's next to Bogey and the fishing pier. But my mom had a little Shasta trailer where you know the kind of trailer where you pull the sides out and you crank the top up, and the sides fall out. Well, her and my dad and my mom would stay in there, and then I actually stayed in a tent. We set up a tent on the outside of the trailer, and I stayed in the tent, and I was probably at that time 14, 15 years old. So on the ocean side, you know, when you're growing up on the island, you have the advantage of surfing on the ocean side, but yet Emerald Isle is so narrow that on the sound side, we would be able to go clamming and shrimping and oystering. But as a young kid, you can go clamming, and we would dig up 1,000 clams a day. And back in them days, they would sell for 15 to 20 cents a piece. So we were making $150 a day as 15-year-old little rats. And you'd have to work the tide. And what I mean by that is the tide changes every hour. High today might be 7 o'clock, tomorrow be 8 o'clock, next will be 9 o'clock. So if the tide was high in the morning, we were little rats. We'd go surfing next to the pier all morning long. And then when the tide fell, you'd look around, half of your buddies would be gone because they done got their tennis shoes and headed to the sound, started digging up some clams to make some money. Oh. And the funny part about it is when your buddies would come down, their mom and dads would give them like $5 to go to the arcade and get a little ice cream.
Is there a lot of money in digging clams up when you were a kid like that?
Actually, there still is. I mean, when we were clamming, it seemed like everybody and their brother was out there clamming. I mean, we had 20 little guys like me that were out there clamming, and all the Swansboro and up towards Atlantic Beach. I mean, that was back in them times, everybody did it. But in today's time, hardly anybody clams, which if you do go out there, the clams are thick. They're thick. So I took Tanner out there, my son, and I was telling him how to make some money. I said, son, why don't I want you to go work at McDonald's or Food Line or something, you know, where you got to be in one spot every day, all day. I said, now, every time you hear this sound, and I dropped the clam in the bottom of a bucket, bing, bing, bing. I said, every time you hear the sound, that's 10 cents to 20 cents. So he's in the boat putting his tennis shoes on. I jump overboard. I got my bucket, and I'm clamming, and this is what he hears. Bing, 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 bing.
Money.
I'm throwing him right in the bucket. He couldn't get his tennis shoes on fast enough to jump overboard. And I told him, I said, you know, if you get out here and dig, it's up to you to dig. The bank's open every day. And that's what we did to start. And at that age. And once I started collecting a little money, then one of my buddies over here had a little boat on the side of his yard, wasn't using it. I offered him a couple $100 for the boat. Put it in the water, and then I started working the water scalloping. Back in them days, you could dig scallops. You didn't dig them, you drug for scallops. But now they don't even have a scallop season. Back in them days, they actually had a shucking plant that was down on 58 where they bought your scallops in the shell. So all the pathers up in Salter Path, halfway to the island, you used to be able to catch 12 bushels per person per day. So the pathers would take their wife, their kids, their second kid, their cousins. They throw about 10 people in the boat so they could go down there and catch 100 or 150 bushels scallops and then take them to the shucking plant and sell them by the bushel up there. Where me, I could only catch 12 because it was just me in the boat. But that's how they made their living. That's how they put their Christmas money on the table. So
that's really interesting to me because when I think about kind of that fishing situation, you know, I don't do seafood, not because I don't love seafood, but I'm concerned about the ecosystem. So I think about like the Chesapeake Bay is so overly fished, like I can't morally purchase from anything caught from the Chesapeake Bay. So it was interesting to me to hear, you know, back in the 60s, there's everyone and their brother out there digging up clams and scallops, and now no one's doing that? That's baffling to me. That's like there hasn't been like a commercial hand in that?
Well, first of all, as far as the scallop season, are actually on the whole eastern seaboard. We were one of the only bays. You have two types of scallops. You have a scallop that's in the ocean. That's your ocean scallop. Then you also have, which is the big fat scallops when you go to the restaurants and you order scallops.
I do get them confused. I can't
they're great
remember
big.
which one's the big ones and which one's the small ones.
Well,
medallion size.
Those are
scallops.
basically what happens there a lot of times if you're getting a true scallop. A true scallop is a sea scallop that they are, but a lot of times you'll get what they put on the menu as scallops, and they'll actually have another type of fish that'll have a cookie cutter size of a scallop, and they'll be making plugs out of the same, of a different kind of fish, frying them up, and then sell them as, you don't know it, but that's behind the scene that happens now and then. So, but a true ocean scallop is big. They're not all the same size. That's what I always kid about when you get ordering from a restaurant and they come on your plate and every one of them's the matching size. They're not the same size. So,
what type of fish would they do that with?
A lot of times they've used albacore, amberjack, which is a kind of a bottom dweller, not as tasty. I mean, any kind of fish, if you marinate it, you know, you can have a tennis shoe, and if you put it in soy sauce and marinate it, you can cook it up. My point being that you can marinate and you could flavor the meat and then pass it by to the consumer. Now, I'm not saying they do that every time. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying when you're looking at scallops, if they're all the same size, I'd have a little grin to it.
Throwing up your question
I'd
marks.
have a good question. But now the other side of the scallop is the bay scallop. He's a lot sweeter. It's real small. So they're only about the size of your big fingernail thumbnail, but they're a lot sweeter. So when you get those real small ones, and they'll say bay scallops or ocean scallops most of the time when you order them. So the bay scallops is what we would catch, and then the ocean scallops are caught by dredging boats out there dredging, and then sell them to the market, which they process them and sell them on the restaurant. But what we used to be back was fun, back in our day, is all those little guys that were out there. Now we're 15. Okay, now we've already went from 10 to 15. We're clamming, we're making some money. We bought these little boats, and we're sliding out there in the ocean. And we're back in them days, there's a lot more fish. They were more plentiful. So we'd go out there and catch like king mackerel, Spanish mackerel, cobia, dolphin, and fish right there, not far off the beach. And when we bring them back, we could stop at these restaurants that were on the waterfront. Mm-hmm. And they would buy our fish right off the boat, and that would be their nightly specials. And like Bogue Inlet Pier, they had Bushwhackers. Everybody used to probably know the Bushwhackers restaurant back then. The Snapdragon in Swansboro. Different fish house in Swansboro. But we'd stop at the dock, and they knew us. Hey, Sweet Will, what do you got? Today I got cobia, which is a really tasty, mild fish, big fish. You get a lot of meat off of there. And so they'd give us X amount of dollars, and then they would sell it for $13.99 a plate, that night.
I'm going to pause you real quick. You were Sweet Willy at 15?
No, not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, probably to a few I probably was, But,
you were, you just didn't know.
No, it was forming. It was forming because me and my partner, we were, Billy Farrington was my partner in the very beginning. And we were 16, 17, and about 18 years old is where it basically started. And are you pausing? You want me to tell you how it went?
No, keep going.
Okay, so what happened back in the day of Emerald Isle, we were going through the building trend of the whole island. So we were young at age, but we were pretty slick about seeing the construction that was going on. the housing, what they were selling for. So me and my partner, we looked at each other and said, hey, man, let's go try to borrow some money and build a commercial building out here on the road front. And I had long hair down my back, and we were hippie looking, and we were just young bucks and surfers every day, you know. But little did they know we were making $100 a day. So, you know, say what you will. I mean, we went to the bank and we were going to borrow $125,000 or $150,000, and we were 18 years of age, and they were like, "Okay, well, how are you going to do it? So, how are you going to pay the rent?" But we had a 5,000 square foot building that we had laid out and drew up, and on one end of it, we had a dentist, Floyd Camp in Dentistry, who actually just sold his practice in that same building, not but a few years ago. But we had him willing to take that into the building for X amount of dollars. And then on the other end, we had carpet dealership, Merritt's Carpet, that committed to the other end of that business. So they would pay us X amount a month, they would pay us X amount a month, which would make our payment. But now we had 1,000 square feet of the building that we couldn't find anybody to rent it. So a day would go by, a week would go by, a month would go by, and I'd say, Billy, you know, we got to try to find somebody to rent this. And about the time we were joking around, and we built it ourselves. I mean, we were 18, and we were building the building built the building ourselves, because being on the building during that time, we were the ones that were building houses. We were the carpenters. We were the bricklayers. We were the sheetrockers. You know, all our friends that were digging clams, now all of a sudden we picked up trades. I was a brick mason, so I would do the foundations. My other buddy was a sheetrocker. He'd be doing the sheetrock, painters, electricians. So we all grew up, but we all developed trades. So when we did this commercial building, we had 1,000 square foot we couldn't rent. And I said to Billy, well, look, man, why don't we just open up a surf shop in this business right here? I mean, let's rent it to ourselves. You know, if we're going to, what two cooler people than you and me? And I said, I was from the Jacksonville area and he was from Moorhead. So I said, you know, the competition was minimal. You had Burt's Surf Shop down there, which is still down there. And you had one other surf shop, Salt Creek Surf Shop, back in them days. So our competition wasn't, you know, that fierce. And then we were surf. We ate, drank, slept, surfed, looked surf, did surf, you know, so we decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. So now you had this building sitting there. Now we had to come up with a name for the surf shop. So we're sitting there, and there was a telephone sitting on the counter that I had sitting right there. So I'm talking to Billy, and I'm sitting there, should we name it like Jeff's Surf Shop? Ah, bro, that's too boring, man.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I'm making, you know, what, Joe's Surf Shop? No, it's not. It was a boring. We got to come up with something cool. I said, okay, you're Willy, I'm Sweet, man, all the time. Sweet Willy, Sweet Willy's. Billy, I got it. I told him, I looked right, I said, Billy, I got the perfect name. He said, what is it? And I said, Sweet Willy's Surf Shop. I said, watch this. I picked the phone up right then. It was sitting there. I picked the phone up, act like it rang. Good afternoon, Sweet Willy's Surf Shop. Can I help you? I hung it down and picked it back up. I picked it back up and said, Sweet Willy's, yeah, the waves are about 6 foot, man. Come on down. Check out the shop. Yeah, thanks for calling. I said, Billy, that's it. Sweet Willy's, man. It's the coolest name. It goes with you and me. You're Willy. I'm Sweet. And that's how we're going to tell them. And that's where the name began, right there.
Now, was that a self-proclaimed name of Sweet given to you?
Yeah, I kind of tapped myself on the back for that one.
So no one else throughout your life was just calling you Sweet.
No, now that was 30 years ago. Now everybody calls me Sweet. in the Sweet Willy, yeah. So that's where the development of the name came. So now we had the location. Now we had the name. Now we had to come up with the logo. And see, that's where the whole thing, and so here I am again. I'm sitting there, you know, I'm looking around. I said, Billy, I got to come up with something really cool, man, that everybody knows. So I started, and if you'll know the Hawaiian shaka, everybody hang loose sign. Anybody around the water, wherever you go, Australia, Mexico, Fiji, anywhere you go, everybody's giving the shaka sign in the surf industry. And really in the islands where it originated, it's hello, it's goodbye, it's brother, you know, it's just a family logo. So I grabbed a hold of the shaka, and then I put a tuxedo cuff on it. I gave it a little touch of class. So if you ever you get the T-shirt that we're wearing, you'll notice that the shaka sign has got the tuxedo cuff.
That's right.
And he's got the white of the shirt in the cuff. So I gave it a touch of class. then naturally the island in the islands you always have rainbows every day, 2 or 3 times a day in the islands. So we'd be over there during the Pipeline Masters, and hanging loose because we had our surf shop beginning. We'd go over there and in their shows and meet. I'll have to bring you some pictures of some of the most famous surfers like Sean Thompson back in them days, Mark Richards, Kelly Slater. I got some great pictures of Kelly Slater and me. And Sonny Garcia, he's one of those guys that tough boys. And I was pure Halle. I mean, in Hawaii, I was a guy with white hair and a long ponytail. I mean, these guys Hawaiians, if you're white, you don't hardly get along with them. But if you're a little bit sweet-willed, you can get in there and handle it. So that's where we came up with the logo. That's where we came up with the name. And that's where we're moving forward for where we're at now, still carrying it all on.
What'd you have in the surf shop?
We had a full-on surf shop. I was the ladies' buyer. Naturally. And we had we carried a full bunch of ladies' lines, full, swimwear, activewear, even sportswear, and into the surf wear as far as the girls' wetsuits. I mean, back in our day, we had a lot of girls that surfed. And then naturally in the men's side, we had all the men's, the shorts and T-shirts, longs. And I was an all-year business. So in the spring, I'd carry the flip-flops and the T-shirts. And then in the middle of when you start getting into fall, I'd pick up the long-sleeve shirts and the long pants and sweatshirts. And so, now the business was not very much in the wintertime because everybody's inland. Now you got the football games going on. Now you got... the hockey games, and everybody's inland doing it. But in the summer months, everybody wants to come down to the beach. So, but at a young age, to be able to have a shop and be able to go to work and sell surf and go in the morning and surf. So you'd surf in the morning, go open up your store, sell surf all day long, and eat, drink, and sleep, surf.
God, that is literally the dream.
And then now you throw on top of it that you're fishing the whole time. So you're catching fresh fish and you're eating oysters and clams. I mean, it's a healthy living. It's a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And
the word that comes to mind is just like sustainability. Like
Yeah.
it's clean, it's healthy, it makes sense. You're making your own living, you are acquiring your own food, and you're enjoying every minute of it. That is, to me, like what the American dream stands for.
It really was. I mean, I have to thank the Lord every day, and I do. I mean, first of all, Mom and Dad. Mom sniffed it out, and you couldn't pry her off the beach, and she's down there today. I mean, I left this morning, taking care of her, home carrying her. But, I mean, she's push her in a wheelchair. We'll go down to the ramp, look at the surf. If you want me to tell you a funny one real quick, back in the day when we were young, I was like maybe 14, 15. I'd be at the end of the pier surfing. And with my dad being military, I was already around a bunch of pools, so I was a good swimmer. By that time, I mean, I was pretty much a fish. So if you fall off your surfboard and you're pier length out and your leash breaks or something, you have to be able to swim in. No big deal. You just got to be able to swim and be healthy and, get in there. But back in them days, remember when them women had their hair up and them bouffant hairdos. So my mom had one of them hairdos. But then, also know back in them days, when they washed their hair, they put them bathing caps over the top of their head. Mm-hmm. So my mom had this bathing cap that was rubber, and it had all these feathers and flowers and stuff on it. And she was an excellent swimmer. My mom and dad would swim in the ocean all the time. So, but my friends didn't know that. So when I'd be out surfing, all of a sudden my mom would walk down the beach. She'd tuck that hair up in there, that bouffant hair up in that rubber hat, and she would swim all the way out to the lineup, and I'd be out there at the end of the pier. And some of my friends didn't know it. So when she would swim out, they were going, "Hey, look at this lady, man! Look, she's got something funny on her head." And they were laughing. And I let them say it just a little bit longer. And I said, "Hey, pal," I said, "just hold on a minute. That's my mom." And they're like, "That ain't your mom, Sweet Will." And I was like, "Yeah, it is. Hold on." And she'd swim right over there, hold on to my board. We'd talk for a minute or two, and we'd chat, and then she would swim back to the dock and back to the mainland. And when she started swimming back, I'd look at my friends. They didn't know it. And I'd ask them, I said, "Now, you seen where my mom is. Where's your mom? She's surely not out here swimming in the lineup." I said, so, they had to eat crow every time that they had to deal with my mom out there.
If you have a picture, I would just send it over. We're gonna pop it on here. I just want to look at her.
She's definitely, at this time she hangs in there. She's gonna give you the high five, and she's definitely blessed, man. And one thing's for sure, she is a warrior for the Lord. So when she does close her eyes, It's going to be easy because she's going to go straight to the right-hand side of the father, man. I mean, that's what makes me easy. You know, my father's already up there. She'll chase him just in a little while. She'll be running him again.
They'll be swimming at the end of the pier.
They'll be
together
swimming.
this
I mean,
time.
both of them did. That's what they were, you know, in all those pools in the military. You know, my dad was a lifeguard, and mom, you know, she just swam. They loved a good exercise. And so that was really funny, you know, when you swim.
I don't know why I'm like really emotional while you're talking about your mom. It's
Well, she's cool, man. I mean, you guys need to meet her, man, 'cause she's definitely cool.
Yes, like I need her. Sorry, I don't know why I got really emotional. when you
She's
were
definitely,
talking.
and then back in,
You did, and I put the camera on you so everybody
I
can see
know,
your
I
tears.
really
Here we
did.
go.
I got like really emotional while you were talking about your mom. 'Cause She reminds me of my grandma.
yeah, she's definitely the kind, man.
We have an emotional moment on Hammered, folks.
Yeah.
First one in
Wow.
61 episodes. I don't
Sweet
know, is this the
Will,
first
bringing
time
it
we've
out.
got tears
Wow.
in here.
No,
Exactly.
really, I'm like really trying to reel it in.
No,
you know,
no,
she's-
no pun
Excellent.
intended. Get it? Get she?
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
God.
All right, so let me
on.
bring it back. So you and your
Moving
buddy,
on.
y'all started the surf shop, and you guys are open for business.
Yes, sir. And
How was business out there at first?
you know what? Everybody when they first open up a business, you know, you always look at that first day, and everybody hangs that first dollar on their wall,
Yeah.
and you've seen it in a bunch of businesses.
But you guys went into this nervous as shit.
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you the part that happened to is, to be honest with you, you think that you could go in there and open up a surf shop right off the bat, okay, with no issues. But what you had to do is you had to get the lines, Quicksilver, Billabong, Rusty. You had to get the surf lines to be able to go in business. So we're thinking, okay, all right, we got the shop, no problem. We're going to go to, and we go to the trade shows. They get all the surf expos. We're in Atlantic City. They had one in Orlando at the Convention Center, Orlando. They have them 2 or 3 times a year, and you pick which ones you want to go to, depending on the clothes. If you're buying for spring, in the winter times when you go. If you're buying for fall, then you go in the spring. So it's backwards, so you have the stock coming in. So, what was that?
Opening in the shop.
Oh, yeah. So as far as the inventory, yes.
it happens to me too.
Well,
Yeah,
I was in the zone here because we thought we were just going to walk in and go in there, sit down at the guy's table, and order what we want to order. So we go ahead, we get our badges, we drive up to Atlantic City, and we're going to the trade show. And you know, we're all big time now. We're Sweet Willy Surf Shop. We got our T-shirts on, and you know, but we don't have any inventory. We're just going to go. We only got our shirts, and we're going to go up there and try to sell. I mean, buy.
Yeah.
So we get in there. And we go to sit down, and remember I told you the only competition on the island was Bert's Surf Shop. Okay, well, he had already been there, so we didn't think nothing about it. So when we go in there and sit down, and we sit at Quicksilver's booth, and Rick Bannon says, well, Sweet Willie's, that's a cool name, man. Where's your shop located at? And we said, Emerald Isle, and he looked at me, kind of strange. He says, well, where on Emerald Isle? I said, down on, you know, by the Emerald Bogue Inlet end of the island. Well, how far are you from Bert's Surf Shop? I looked at him, what's that got to do with anything? He said, well, you know, we can't sell to you. You know, because Bert's already has those in the shop, and we give him a little bit of demographic area to control.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, bro, man, he don't even surf, man. You know, we're you know, here we are, we're pure rats.
I live the life.
I mean, we're surfers, and you're not going to let us have the line? I mean, are you serious? And he said, yeah, bro, it's, you know, kind of an ethical thing. And I'm like, well, so then we go to the next booth, walk one over. And at the main time, you got to have the main lines. I mean, you don't want no Joe Surfwear. You want Quicksilver, Billabong. So you had to have the name brands. So we go to Billabong next. Same question. Where you at? Who you next to? No, we can't sell to you. So then we got cock blocked all the way through the whole show from anybody. Now we
fucking Bert's, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, and you couldn't believe it. We're like, come on, bro. This, you know, we're hardcore, and you know. But all trip now, like I said, we can go get Joe Swimwear, you know, fill your whole store up with off-name brands. But nah, man, we don't survive a day like that.
Yeah.
So the whole show, we weren't able to. That was in September. So we put our tail between our legs, had to drive back home, Emerald Isle, and now we have a shop, got a name, got a building, got a logo, but no inventory.
Now, Bert's, that's a national brand.
No,
right?
Bert. He lives in Kinston. Here, he's probably about 80 by now, in his 80s, and he's still. I got to give it to the old guy. He originated in Kinston, then he gravitated to Emerald Isle, went through the growth, and now he's got 2 on Emerald Isle, 1 in Atlantic Beach, 1 in Kinston, and he still goes to the trade shows, still does his buying. You know, so like that's when like myself, like I said, I was the ladies' buyer once we started going to the shows. Well, that's what I want it to be. Until we got cock-blocked, couldn't buy nothing. And it happened the same way on the women's lines. So we got a lesson there. So we come back in September. Well, January is the next trade show in Orlando, Florida. So we pack up. Let's go again, Billy. All from September through nothing. The shop just sat there. We couldn't do nothing. We had to get the right stuff.
No.
So now we're just, the other stores are open. The dentist and and Merritt's Carpet was going. Thank the Lord for making the payments. And so then we drive back to Florida, and we get into the trade show, Sweet Willy's. We sit down in front of the same guy, Quicksilver. He sees our name again, and he says, where y'all at, Emerald? Man, I done told you guys I can't open you up. I said, bro, that was months ago. I said, things have changed now. Yeah, what's changed? I said, we have, man. We're getting a little bit more aggressive. We need to open this store up. I said, 4 months ago you told me no, but today I'm asking you again. Come on. Shot us down again. So when we were walking away from them, Locomotion was Hawaiians. Back in them days, Locomotion was real strong. And my partner Billy's sister, Sally Farrington, dated Rob Burns, who owned Locomotion, but they were from Hawaii. But he just happened to be at the trade show. So we walk over to Rob, hey, bro, what's up, mate? And we're like, bomb, bro, we can't get no one to open us up. He says, well, who'd you try? And we said, Quicksilver, Billabong, and Rob looks right at us. He says, bro, did you try Locomotion? And we were like, nah, man, but sit down, write some paper. We said, okay. So he tells us, sit down, bro, write some paper. And so we sat down, we looked at his line, and it's a good line. He says, now tear the sheet off. And then once we give him the money, just write our paper, we bought T-shirts, we bought some surfboards, we bought some shorts, some sandals. We bought a bunch from him because it had been a line I would have put in the store anyways. He wasn't at the first trade show. He just happened to be at the second trade show. So when I bumped into him, Billy, hey, Rob, and we talked to him, he wrote on a piece of paper, he goes, come on over here. And he says, who do you want? And we said, we need to get Quicksilver, first of all. He says, come on, follow me. And Rob walks over there and he bends over and he whispers in the guy's ear, Rick Banna. He whispers in, hey, Rick, these are some good bros of mine, they're true, bro. You need to hook them up, man, open them up. And so as soon as Rob told Rick to open us up, Rick looked up there, hey, Sweet Will, come on over here, sit down, bro, write some paper. So after
write some paper,
leave some money, So we wrote some orders up. Once we had Locomotion and Quicksilver, man, I got my skin's buckling right now just because that's how you had to get started. Now we knew we could get open. I was like, Billy, we're rolling now. Let's go to Billabong. Let's go to Rusty. Because now we could show where we left paper. And then we show them here we wrote with Billabong. Yeah, we wrote with Quicksilver, man. Yeah, we're big time now, So they all sat us down. And that's where we got the inventory. And that's where it just took off from right there.
Is Locomotion still in production?
Locomotion, I don't think Rob's still. They still have boards on the island out there in Hawaii, North Shore, Oahu. But as far as selling, I haven't been in the business as far as in the retail side of it in a while. But I'm not sure if he's in the retail end of it as much anymore. And a lot of your majors like Quicksilver and Billabong, a lot of your majors that back in the day that everybody want to look surf. So you want to wear those clothes. You want to have the long blonde hair. You want to have the muscles and the tan. Kind of like this right here.
Have you ever? I'm kind of curious.
Here's your camera.
Kind of like this.
Have you ever cut your hair? Has
Oh
it always
yeah,
been
yeah.
long?
I cut. I had it long all through I started growing it in the high school days, and that's a funny story on its own. If you want me to share that with you, just as cool too.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about the hair.
Yeah, because here's how it was. My dad was military, right? So it was, and I'm talking about true gun-ho military. Tattoos. Back in them days, he was young. He'd smoke packs of cigarettes, drink whiskey. But he was one of them ones you need in the ditch. He was going to fight. He's tough. Them guys today, they ain't like the Marines back in the day. So but he had a pure flat top. You could put a book on it. You could set a book on it, and the thing would just sit there. You could turn your head like this, and so he sit there. But he made me have one too. I had an older brother, so he made me have one too. So I had one probably up to about the age of 10, when I get ready to move to the beach, I'm hanging out at the beach. And all the beach guys had a little longer hair, and I am with a flat top and shit. I was like, nah, just don't get it. So I remember telling my dad, man, the day I asked him to let me grow my hair. So we're sitting at the beach at the table. My dad's got a big glass of milk, and we're eating stuff, and And I said, Pops, man, I said, look, Dad, I got something I need to ask you, man. He says, what is it, son? He says, I want to grow my hair long. He says, what? What do you want to grow your hair long for, boy? He always calls me boy when I was, when you tighten up, he call me boy, you know. What do you want to grow your hair long for, boy? And I say, because, Pops, man, that's just how it is, man. I said, man, chicks just don't dig short hair. And that's exactly what came out of my mouth. Pops, chicks just don't dig short hair. And he laughed at me. He goes, okay. He says, he always had rules. He goes, I got 2 rules. I said, what are they? He said, you keep it out of your eyes and you keep it clean. I said, is that it? He said, that's it. He always had his rules. But as long as he gave me the rules, I knew what to do. So here comes the funny part. So the next day, man, we're out there eating at the table again. And he's got his little glass of milk there. And I walk out there, and I had parted that flat top in the middle. And I took some of that Vitalis they wore back in them days. And I pulled that shit to the side like this. And I mean, there weren't no hair in the first place. And I just made a part, and I just greased the part and pulled it down like that. So my dad's eating like that, and I sit down at the table, and he goes, I said, Pops, I'm going to grow my hair long. And about the time he took a sip of milk, he looked up, and he seen that hairdo like that. He laughed so hard he shot milk right out of his 2 noses like that. He laughed, it came out, I was laughing, he was laughing, everybody was laughing. And I mean, from that point on, I mean, he said, boy, if you want to wear your hair like that, that's what he called me again. Boy, if you want to wear your hair like that, you go ahead. Because he thought it was so funny. 15 years later, I never got another haircut. From that day on, and then after that, then it was all, when his buddies would see me, you know, now I had a little long hair. And he was Master Gunny. Top, your boy's got that longer hair than your top. And he's like, man, don't even mess with him. Don't mess with him, man. Don't mess with Sweet Will. And that's so I had it long. And then I got married, and I had to cut it all off and sell real estate, get all clean. And I was all into that for about 20, 25, 30 years. And the day after, I had to sell my motorcycles, clean up. But the day I got divorced, I bought me 2 more motorcycles and got my hair long. Here we are again, man.
Oh, yeah.
All the way again.
Yes.
That brings me to my next question. How long did the surf shop, how long was Sweet Willie's open, and what happened? Why'd you close it?
Well, where we originated, now you got to remember where we built that building, same scenario, okay? Now we got it going. We were in that location for like 5 or 6 years. But in order to get to our store, you had to turn by the Islander. There was no access on the main road. You had to turn off the main road, come on the back road, and then come in our driveway, which we did fine. And I was telling you, like when you originate your business, you always had that first day, and you take that first dollar. We did $1,000 our first day opening up the store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I looked at Billy. I said, Billy, 30 days, if we do $1,000 a day, I said, man, we can make 30 grand a month. You know, man, we could kick back. You don't have to dig no clams. We can be out here just selling surfboards, hanging loose. So we did really well from that day on. I mean, from the time we opened up, the business started taking off. And so we were in that location for about 5 or 6 years. But I'd stand in the back of where we had a big plate window, and I'd look in the back and look out the window, and you could see all the traffic that would be going by you that wouldn't come in there off the road and missing you. Mm-hmm. So we were like, bro, we need to get down there in the middle of town and try it again, you know. So remember I was talking about Burt Surf Shop. Okay, yeah. Now I've been in business for 5 years. They opened me up. So what did I do? I went and bought a piece of property right next door to Burt Surf Shop.
The savagery.
The savagery.
Stop that.
I mean, I went in there and we did the exact same thing. We bought the property. Now, you know, we're only, back in the first ones, we were only 18, 19 years old, 20 years old. How did he get the money? How did they build it on this on the road front? 2 long hairs, you know, they were like, how are these guys surfers doing this commercial?
Y'all made some friends with Burt's, huh? Oh.
Yeah, so now we go down there, we buy another piece of property right next to Burt's. And now that building that's the one that has Ben and Jerry's, and we did the same thing. We found an attorney that wanted the end of the building, Mike Lincoln, and he's still in that business today. And then me and Billy, we had our end of the surf shop, the end of the building, and then Billy's brother, Ricky, bought the middle piece. But now me and Billy built the building, and we charged these 2 building costs, so we ended up building our part for free. And then now we're right there where you turn to go to the Bogue Inlet Pier, right there in the middle of town. So we went from doing $200,000-$300,000 a year in business to $600,000 or $700,000 a year in business just by moving the location. And I mean, and now we're right there on the main road. We're right next door to Bert's. And
So you're giving Bert an ass whipping.
Yeah, we're getting a little dip in his pocket. You know, we're dipping in his pocket a little bit. And I was just glad that, you know, after we've been there a while and there was enough business taken off that, you know, they couldn't cockblock us anymore. We've already established, it's hard to cut off an established account once you've already been there 5 or 6 years.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, now we're right there, and that's where we were. We were continuous right there for about another 7, 8 years. And once we moved there, we had started the Sweet Willies. I had originated the first surf contest. So that's where me and Billy, there was back in them day, there wasn't really much happening. So we decided to throw the first Sweet Willie Surf Challenge.
And what year was that?
That one, 97 would have been 87. It would have been 1987 would have been my first sweet. I had my shop 84, 85, so 87 would have been the first Sweet Willie Surf Challenge. And in that surf challenge, what we also had, we had 250 surfers that entered in the contest, which is the most you could have because every 15 minutes is a heat. So when you blow the whistle to start a heat, that's also a whistle to people to get out of the water. So it's when the judges are judging, they tear it off, they hand it back, they're already judging the next heat. The blue's up, red's up. So my point is the pace. It's a nonstop pace. And the only time I stop the pace is at 12 o'clock. For the Sweet Willie's Bikini contest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's where you had to stop the pace just so the guys could get off the judging. And I had the Sweet Willie's Bikini contest, which we had 24 girls that enter it. And they would go on Saturday, and then we'd bring back the 12 on Sunday. So we had the surfing contest, we had the bikini contest. Then we also had a 4-man volleyball tournament that I put on. The surfing contest, I had 250 entries in it, first year. In the first year of the volleyball, we had almost 100 entries in the 4-man volleyball team. Then I also threw in the horseshoes for the old users. And, you know, so I had like 6 horseshoe pits. And one of my sponsors was Coors Beer back then. So you had all the big guys, man, beer bellies throwing the horseshoes, looking at the girls' bikinis. Man, life was good, you know. So that went on for that back in then for 10 years. And on the end,
Were you doing it every year?
Every year, once the same weekend, June 25th and 26th, which that'll fall into this next Beach Blitz. We're going to jump in and we're going to keep it the very same weekend that we had established ourselves back in the 80s and 90s on the same weekend. So it's already, the word's already getting out and it's spreading.
So you took a hiatus of this. So your last one was in what, 97?
1997. And at that last event, we had over 10,000 people at the event. Saturday we had over 6,000, and Sunday we had 4,000. And the only contest that was actually bigger than mine, almost on the whole East Coast, was the ECSC, which is the championships that are held in Virginia Beach. But that's Virginia Beach compared to Emerald Isle.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I'm just going to say Virginia Beach ain't all that great.
Well, it's just, you know, just the volume of people that you have in Virginia Beach versus this little old island of Emerald Isle. But we put 10,000 people on the island back in the 90s. And what we're getting ready to do here in the future is we're going to, who knows how many we're going to put back up in there.
And if you're listening from Virginia Beach, I love you.
Yeah,
we love
Virginia
Beach.
I mean, Virginia Beach is cool. I'm just saying, you know, it's not Emerald Isle.
I still
I mean,
have people in Virginia Beach. They know how much I hate Virginia Beach. That's why I fucking left.
well, Virginia's is just more, you know, just more touristy and more people. I mean, Emerald Isle is just a little bit more laid back. I mean, I like to be able to come home. I've done a lot of traveling and surfing. I've been surfing since I was 10. I'm 61 years old right now. So I've been surfing 50 years, and I've been in Hawaii, Mexico, through the Bahamas, Caribbean, just all kinds of fun places. But coming back home to Emerald Isle is just a pretty of a place that you'll ever have. Maybe not as big as Swell, but as far as lifestyle, cost of living, food, ocean, sound, you know.
So why now? What lit your fire? What made you say, okay, I want to start the surf contest again?
Well, after 25 years of being away from it, man, you know, I'm still surfing, but it was such a well-run contest that there's really nothing family-oriented that's going on, you know. And I've had for popular demand has been asking me for 25, come on, Sweet Will, you need to put on another event, man. Nothing was as good as yours, you know. Because they've had other small events out there, but not the caliber that mine was. And that's just because everybody got behind the program. I got a lot of sponsors that got behind me. All the guys in the back trenches were digging just as hard as I was. I was just the mouthpiece, that everybody dealt with. But all the Indians that were behind me were just as strong and helping holding up the fort, So it worked good. And then what happened is the local surf shop that's in our surf location where we were, they're South Swell Surf Shop. They've been, there for a few years. We sold it to one company, and they turned around and sold it to South Swell. And about 4 or 5 months ago, they decided to put out a tribute T-shirt to Sweet Willie's. They called up, hey, can we do a tribute to Sweet Will's? Everybody's been asking about it.
That was rocking.
Yeah, I mean, they had a cool idea, and me and Billy were appreciative. I was like, yeah, but let me get it straight now. I got to talk the truth. I ain't gonna beat around the bush, and I ain't gonna pimp or anything. So this is what happened here. So my intent was that you were gonna make it a tribute to Sweet Willie's. I mean, even on the Facebook, they say that it's thank you, Jeff, and they're real polite and everything. So the concept was good. I think they hit the concept, but I think they missed the mark. And what I mean by that is because when the shirt finally came out. In my eyes, it was a tribute to Sweet Willie's, and I've designed a lot of T-shirts in my time, for all the years of business and everything. So what I was expecting didn't really come out with the way the shirt came out. But now, when they came out with it, they blew 100 of them off the rack. I mean, not in 2 weeks, every one of them sold. Everybody wanted one. It wasn't for South Swell; it was because of Sweet Will's, and they dedicated. And on the shirt, what they had done is they used the same font of my script right here. Mm-hmm. But they put South Swell Surf Shop and my logo, and that was it on the front. And then on the back, it said it had on my logo, and in the tuxedo cuff, on the shirt. Sometime one of my stickers that I had back in the day, I had Sweet Willie's wrote in the cuff. Well, they happened to get that off the internet. Someone sent them a picture, wherever they got the picture from. All in good taste. I mean, I'm not. The shirt came out okay. But when they printed it, now it says EI's favorite surf shop for over 30 years. When I read that, it doesn't say nothing about Sweet Will's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my eyes, just to be clear, I mean, they blew out the door. Everybody knows Sweet Willie's logo. Mm-hmm. Even my brother. I didn't know about it until my brother Jim called me up and said, Jeff, have you seen your shirt? And I said, no, are they out? He said, yeah. He said, I bought one, I bought one for such and such. And then my ex-wife called me up. Jeff, have you seen it? I said, no. And I bought one for summer and bought one for sailor for my kids. And so I said, well, let me see the shirt. I'm all happy. Let me see it. Everybody's grooving on it. Let me see it. And I read it, and that's the first thing I see is South Swell Surf Shop and my logo. And I'm like, where's Sweet Will? And
right.
Then I turn it around the back, and it says, EI's favorite surf shop for over 30 years.
So they just used the logo. That was it.
Yes.
So I mean, they had the right concept. They just missed the mark.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they should. In my eyes, I even went. I mean, I'll tell you what I ended up doing. So I think they should have just put tribute to Sweet Willie's, my logo, and then South Swell. I want you on the shirt.
Right.
I want you on there. You're a bro, but don't take my logo and just suck off the off of it.
It sounds like blatant plagiarism.
Well, and it came. That crowd didn't have no concept of that's how it came across.
Right.
I mean, now me personally, even Billy, my own ex-partner, Juke, my nickname's Juke. He was like, Juke, man. He was like, have you seen the shirt? And I was like, nah. I said, nah. He says, man, they're blowing out the door.
I'm confused now. Hold on.
How many nicknames do you have?
One you know what? You're lucky to get one nickname in life.
Yeah.
But now you've got two, and Juke seems like the bastard stepchild nickname.
Well, no, actually,
Sweet Willie is like what you're known for.
Yeah, well, Juke is for the surfing style, the surfing side of it. Yeah. Juker, Juker, Juker.
Juke, okay.
So when I'd be out surfing, there'd be a big peak coming in or something, the boys would holler, "Take off, Juke!" And I'd paddle over there and turn around. Plug in, take off in the wave, Juka! They'd be hollering at you. I'd be hollering at Willy, take off, Will. Everybody, take off. Yeah. But that was my name and it still is. I mean, I can tell where people, it was Whitey in high school. It was Juke on Emerald Isle. It's Sweet Willie across all the years of surfing and everything out there, people don't even really know my real name. So, I mean, I let them call me what they want to call me, and I can tell where they're from by what they call me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The juke.
So, yeah, that's how it gets rolling like that, man. So the T-shirt, what happened is now, I read the T-shirt, and I'm like, man, okay, this is it. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, you want me to show you what a tribute to Sweet Willie's is? Okay, if everybody wants to see a tribute to Sweet Wills, I'm going to pull the trigger on and put an event on. I'm going to put 20,000, 30,000 people over on the beach. I'm going to have a tribute shirt. I'm going to pump up the tribute to Sweet Willie's. Then I'm going to go in that same surf shop, which you have to have kind of a location to work out of. Like on Friday night before the event, you're going to have all these latecomers trying to sign up and get in and get their names on, get their T-shirts and contestant tees. So you need a place where they can. And when I had my shop, that's one of my busiest weekends. I had 2 surf shop vendors bring me 25 boards apiece. I'd have 50 surfboards laying in the parking lot because now I'm bringing in 10,000 people. I want to sell my merchandise. It's one of the biggest weekends for the retail. So I go to this crowd over here and I said, look, I'm getting ready to put this event on. I want you to be involved with me because I'm going to fill your shop full of people a whole weekend long. And on the retail side, if you be smart about it, stock your store with good inventory, get you some surfboard vendors to put these boards out because I ended up selling 25 surfboards that weekend. And I did it for 10 years. Yeah. So, I mean, we would sell. I wouldn't be there. My salespeople would be there. And their reps would be there selling the boards that they brought. But we would utilize that whole amount of people that you have.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm assuming every shop, every store, every restaurant around Bogan and Pier should be like sponsoring this event.
Yeah, they do. And even right now, I'm telling everybody that I know, you need to go ahead and book your room for the weekend. Because back in the day, we had parking that was available. All the parking places, we had vast amount of places that could park 2,000 or 3,000 cars. Well, now every one of them are gone over the last 25 years. They're all trailer parks now. So there's very limited public parking, and if you do, you got to pay. So, I mean, we're going to fill it up very quickly of any public. So you need to get there, jockey for position. But I suggest anybody can get there, grab a motel room on the ones on Bogue Inlet Drive. I don't know the names of them, but I'll have them that we can get to. The Islander, but I'd book a room.
Tell us first.
I'll make sure you do need to get there. So that way you stay there the weekend. You ain't driving. You park your car.
Oh, we already know a good hotel.
So and
that one we stayed at Emerald Isle before with the brick walls. No
What's
installation.
What's that, Emerald Isle?
Yeah.
That probably ain't even there anymore.
Sure. I think it was Emerald Isle.
I don't think it was Emerald Isle. Yeah.
Where is it? Carolina Beach? Whoops.
Ooh, I'll have to look back, but that wasn't Emerald Isle.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
you
just some creepy fucking
you definitely want to lock in on the location. I mean, I'm going to go to one. One of my buddies volunteered to be a sponsor. Called me up the other day. He said, "Look, what are you doing? I heard you're having an event." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Anything you want." He says, "How about if I give you $500?" And he goes, "I'm gonna go get a motel room." And I was like, "You need to get it now, John." His name is John Starzinski. Way to go, brother John. You're in, guy. Yeah. So, man, but he's a sponsor and he's coming. But I suggest everybody go ahead and lock in on the rooms. I'm gonna go see if I can't work a deal and see if I can't get the whole place and just try to see that way we can book them, pay them, and then just have our people rent them out.
So what I'm getting. Oh, Laura's got something.
Sorry, wait a minute. No, you were right. I was thinking about a different creepy-ass motel.
Yeah, I thought it
took
was.
me to, but no, the other one. This is a horrible story. I relate this hotel room to the day I lost my job to the pandemic because that's literally what happened. So I found the motel and I'm like, oh my God, that's it. And there's a picture.
It was
of me
Emerald Isle.
On Facebook, holding my pocket knife because in this motel, this building we were sleeping in, I heard a scratching at the door, broad daylight, okay, and I'm still beside myself, like I'm going through something very traumatic at this moment. Now I hear
raccoon or something.
On the door, broad daylight. So I'm like, what the fuck is outside? I'm like, we're going to get murdered. And this is like an actual conversation we're having. I'm like, there's a picture of me holding my pocket knife, going to see what the fuck is out the door. There's nothing out the door.
Paranoia.
Might have been a raccoon or something scratching.
Hey, I'm going to take this moment and we're going to plug our event we've got going on.
All right.
Here.
Let's hear it.
Word from our sponsors. So September the 4th, we got the Rock the Pig event coming to Bud's Tavern in Youngsville, North Carolina. You can get your tickets now on Eventbrite, $25. That $25 gets you entrance into the cornhole tournament. Also, you get to see 7 bands perform back to back to back, and you're going to be eating barbecue oink oinks.
Yum. That
all
sounds
day.
good.
Fresh.
Yeah.
That sounds
off
good.
the
Fresh
smoker.
oinks. For those of you listening, you can't see the flyer that's on the video, but for those of you that are watching this on our YouTube channel, the Naughty Donkey Productions YouTube channel, there it is, right there.
All right, good.
Now you can see it.
The lighting is not super flattering in that picture, friends. I promise I don't have like fucking ridges in my.
Well, you're referring to the fishing trip this past weekend where you caught the 22-pound king mackerel.
Nice, too.
We'll post that picture right here for everybody to see.
Yeah, we're going to have that for lunch, too, I think.
Photoshop
Yeah,
out my
we got,
fucking wrinkles in my forehead.
Marinated king mackerel
We got
steaks for
some-
lunch today.
Some king mackerel steaks coming up. You know, Laura's vegan, so she's not going to partake in that.
We're
you
going to
know.
eat hers for her. Don't worry.
Oh, no,
It's
2 steaks
not
apiece,
going
Free
to
Willy.
go to waste.
I
and
just
that's
said Free
what's
Willy.
Yeah, see, I got another name. I got another name. Got another name.
I just
I got another name.
Oh, my
Free
gosh.
Willy.
Willie's got all kinds of names.
The orca is the predator of this, the ultimate predator of the sea. So that's a good.
You can call me whatever you like, mate. I've been called a lot worse now. You can count on that. I've been called a lot worse now. You can count on that.
So we were talking about, before we took the break, we were talking about the surfing contest. And basically what I got out of it was the surf shop that's in Emerald Isle now, in that same area, I guess, where Sweet Willie's was. They wanted to honor Sweet Willie by making a T-shirt. The T-shirt basically fell short.
Well,
you
just
know,
on, I
just
mean,
a little bit.
yeah, on my
not to
eyes.
your liking, to you, in your
Just
eyes,
on my eyes. That's
which
all.
is big because you're Sweet Willie.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, if they would have showed me before they went to print,
Yeah.
I surely would have pointed that out to them.
So you were like, okay, you want to pay a tribute to Sweet Willie's? Hold my beer. I got this. So not only did you like come up with another shirt, you just were like, fuck it, I'm bringing back the surfing contest.
I'm gonna bring back the whole
And
event, and I'm gonna
we're
fill up
just
the whole
gonna
beach based
flip.
on reunion. And
Well-
that's where on the back of the shirt, that's why it says Sweet Willie's 25th Surfing Aloha Reunions, because I'm bringing everybody back together,
Everybody
and I'm
back.
starting my first beach blitz, which is going to consist of surfing, volleyball, surfing with the bikini contest. You got to have that.
Gotta have that
And
bikini
actually,
contest.
Hooters is going to be the sponsors for this year's event. I've just locked in Hooters, and they're all excited. And they'll be out there. They'll have some of the girls and be helping with the girls on going on the stage and really getting involved. And they were one of my sponsors back in the '90s, actually. So that's
okay.
where. So I went and approached another
So
fella.
the girls were looking better back in the 90s.
Well, they're looking pretty nice now. I wouldn't say.
I think it's more PC now with like who they got working at Hooters because
Why
you
did
can't
you
like
just look at me?
because I
Well,
was
when we're talking
the
about
evil
Hooters,
eyes,
I'm not.
yeah.
We're not looking at Mike.
I'm over here like.
Mine are bigger than hers. Come on,
well,
Sweet Willie.
I'm over here like, holy shit, I'm up against Hooters girls. Like,
Well,
I'm
that's
never
okay.
gonna win this one.
What time is this swimsuit contest?
It's
kicking
at
off?
12 o'clock. It's going
All
to be
right.
at 12 o'clock because that's what I do. And like I said, the surfing contest will be starting at 7, and it goes nonstop till 12. And that's when I blow the whistle to get everybody a break and get everybody over to the stage. And that's when we'll have the bikini contest. But
Can I be a judge? I need to be a judge.
all the major
this
sponsors,
happen.
all the major sponsors are.
Not if I'm competing.
The Hammered podcast would like to be a. I don't know how
You heard it
major we
live.
can
You
be.
heard it live right here on Hammered. And see, over Laura's going to be in it, and it's not fair for Mike to be the judge.
Laura
Exactly.
needs to fix her green screen.
green
Fix the
screen.
green screen, producer.
You're right there. What are you doing?
Chat.
I'm booking a room.
During the show.
All right, there you go, girlfriend. Right on Emerald Drive or Bogey Inlet Drive, either one of those.
I am booking my room. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Exactly. Well, daggone, man. It's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
Fixed it.
Yeah, but so that what the contest this year is going. Next year we're gonna have the volleyball, the surfing. We're tying in cornhole this year because it's getting to be so big. Now for the kids and everything, we're having sand building sculpture contests. We're having 3-legged races, sack races, and possibly even a tug of war this time for
tug of war. Oh yeah. Well, if you need help with the cornhole, you just holler at me. I know lots of people that run tournaments. I used to run them for.
No, we're going to need all the help. We'll pass it on. I mean, because we're going to have it on. You got to enter it. You know, there's going to be a limited amount of contestants for the space and the time available.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to have all the people signed up by the event that's going to be in the tournament. All the surfers, 250, hopefully a couple hundred of the cornhole, a couple hundred of the volleyball. So because I'm going to give all the contestants their own contestant T-shirts because they're going to pay their entries. That includes their T-shirt for the contestant T-shirts. And then we got a couple other things that are real cool going to go on during the event. But, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And where can we find out about this? Yeah, is it sweetwillies.com? You got a website?
Yeah, actually we do. We just my son Tanner, he's kind of the savvy guy at the computer stuff. So he just started at www.sweetwillysurfs. No break in between them. It's sweetwillysurfs.com.
All right.
And then when you get to that's going to give you the website. You'll be able to go and scroll down, and it'll have the Facebook page, the Twitter, the YouTube, and that's all on. You'll be able to follow us on Facebook. And then that way, as the year goes on, I'll be periodically updating everything with all the new sponsors and the new events that we got coming and who's getting in and how to keep up with it. But, yeah, mate, check it out. Spread the word. You know, we're looking excited to get it out there.
So, I'm sorry.
SweetWillySurf.com.
No one can see that.
They will when they call.
Can you put it back on my screen, please?
I will actually add that later on. Bam!
Nice. There you go.
Oh, but look, there's like a whole clip of like the bikini contest on
here. Yeah. And that was on that. What's funny about that? Let me tell you a little story about that one right there. There's a story behind everything around here. But what it was is I called all the newspapers. Okay, and I called all the radio stations. I called the TV stations. I want to get everybody covered as much as they cover it. So after they'd been there for a while, on Saturday, the Daily News, the Jacksonville main paper, the people came down on Saturday, and they took the picture that's on the screen or in our little webpage right there, and they posted the first thing on Sunday morning's paper, and the paper comes out about 6 o'clock in the morning. So Saturday, I didn't know they took the picture. So I go to sleep Saturday night, and I'm laying in bed. I'm about wore out from Saturday's event. And Sunday, my phone rings about 6 o'clock in the morning. Bring, bring. Hey, what's up? Sweet Will. Yeah, man. What are you doing? I'm friggin' sleeping, man. I'm like, what are you doing at 6 o'clock in the morning? Have you seen today's paper? And I'm like, no, man. Get your ass out of bed. Go get a paper. Hangs up the phone. I'm like, who was that, man? I tried to fall back. I tried to fall back to sleep for a minute. Bring, bring, bring. Phone rings. Hello? Sweet Will. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm friggin' laying in the bed, man. I'm like, who is this? Go get the paper. Hung up on me. I still don't know today who those two calls was. So I said, man, I wonder what's on the paper. So I get up and I go and get the paper. And sure enough, on the front page, the Sunday edition paper, is a picture of me up there with the 12 chicks.
I was going to ask who the stud was.
Hey, I told you, Sweet Will's got it, right? So I was up there, but the problem is all my friends seen that in the paper, and they were calling me like, hey, dude, who do you think you are with all those chicks, man? And I was like, bro, I got all their phone numbers, I got their ages, I got where they live. You know, so the joke's on you, man.
So you got their bikini sizes.
I got their bikini sizes. I even sold them their bikinis, man, up to Sweet Will's,
nice.
You know. So, but yeah, that's where it's a lot of fun, and everybody's. But then I gave away trips, like I had a Flying Dutchman put up the trip to the Bahamas. With the sponsorship money, we'll give away probably $1,000, $1,500. I mean, it's not like a little $50. I mean, we're going to try to get the prize money and everything up so these girls will come out of the woodwork to get up there.
Giving away any trips this?
We probably will, yeah. I haven't right now. It's just getting started, so I will hit the travel agencies, because a lot of times on the travel agencies, what you'll have is the actual Caribbean cruise line, the Royal Caribbean. They want to give away trips to get customers to get on their boat. So they'll send trips to give away to these the travel agencies. You just got to go in there and ask for them, you know. So I'll go in there, look, got this big event. And the sad part about it is you'll give them away, the girl will win, But 99% of the time, she won't go to Miami to get on the boat to use it. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
You know, you want to have it where they take advantage of it. You know, you win, use it.
Yeah.
So, and the prize money, definitely they'll get the prize money and stuff. So we have in each event that we're having, the surfing, they're all amateur events, but it's a big prize contest. So I'll be buying bicycles and Bose headphones and just a lot of stuff with the sponsor money to give away for the prizes. I used to have a pro event, but and I still might in the years to come. But what happens with a pro event, you raise all this money. Say I raise $10,000-$15,000, but you only give it away to the top 6 people in the event. And anybody can enter the pro division. So what will happen is you might have one of the local surfers that's really good win the pro division. So you're giving away all this money where I'd rather take the $15,000 and buy 20 bicycles and 10 pairs of boat sticks and give them away to the kids and for all the winners of the event, but spend the money and spread it out through the whole event. That's what I'm going to do this year.
Well,
All
that's
I'm
awesome.
saying is I'm going to start dieting now.
Right, you got a year
I mean,
to work.
we got a year. I got a year to work on my 6-pack.
That's
Yeah.
right,
I'm
man.
going to come out there with my shirt off, and
Which is why I got
the girls are going to go crazy.
And especially, I'm trying to. I'm gonna have my Muscle Beach characters, so I got to make sure I pump up the
I gotta
volume.
look like
Well-
Dizzy Star.
Exactly.
Well, Sweet Willy, so I also want to give you props because you're talented. You got a lot of stuff going on, but you are also a great masturbator.
Yes, thank
And
you.
what I mean by that,
Thank you, sir.
What I mean by
Hawaiian
that
style,
is-
you know, Hawaiian style for all you Hawaiians.
so we went fishing with Sweet Willy this past weekend, and we went king mackerel fishing as we talked about earlier. And you took one cast of your cast net and caught like 100+ fish. And here, for those of you just listening to this, you're not going to be able to see this, but this video.
Yeah, that's what I want to make sure when you're out there that you would take a video of catching the bait, because we're fortunate enough to go right outside the inlet. I mean, right outside where we launched the boat.
Well, it's a very
and find them.
small screen up there. You're not going to be able to really see it that well, but it'll project good in the
On the pod.
yeah. So you like pull this net up, and all I see is like silver stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can see him now. Look how he's in
I
there.
think that was a successful cast.
You can't even pull it in the boat. There's so many.
Yeah.
I had to let some out. There's too
I
many.
know your person comes up with this little bucket. and
Well,
there's
I
like
usually put 'em in that- I
300
put 'em in that
fish the
bucket, yeah.
net.
I try to put them in
Look
there
at-
because they're so slimy. I don't want to let them get on the bottom of the boat.
Oh, we have the pleasure of
Look at that.
handling
that-
them.
Look at them. There you go. Oh yeah, those are called menhaden. They're the golden nuggets. That's what the
Like golden
everything,
nuggets.
everything. Look at them, man. Then you clean your net. Make sure you get everything clean. Get the slime out of it. Look at them all out there.
Can't even get them all.
That makes me want to go fishing right now. Every time I look
I'm
at
down. Let's go.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you know,
whenever.
I've been fishing all my life, and I get just as excited. I don't even sleep the night before. Like that night, Saturday night, I was just up waiting to go fish. At 2 o'clock, looking at my watch. 3 o'clock, looking at my watch.
And that was one cast. You said that sometimes it takes a couple hours to get
Yeah,
fish.
sometimes you have to look around. I mean, we were blessed that we just went out there, and there they were. You see them popping, and then I throw a 12-foot net that opens up 24 foot. So I mean, and that's designed to sink fast in deep water. These baits will swim out from underneath the net. If they hear the net, they'll swim out from underneath it if it doesn't sink fast enough. So that's why I use a big net. In shallow water, I can throw a small net because they can't sink. I can catch them if they're up next to the bank. But if they're in deep water, then I have to throw that big net. And you want to take I take 50 live baits out there when I keep them alive. Then I take a lot of extra and I keep them in the bucket. So when you get out there, you chum them up and get the smell of fish and the blood of fish in the water. And with anything it takes to get one to bite the hook.
No. Well, hey, look. So have you listened to the Hammered podcast before?
I did. I don't know which particular one that I seen, but when you gave me your card, naturally I went and pulled it up.
So I don't know if you know, but we have this thing called Hammered Trivia. So each guest goes up against Miss Laura May over here. One-on-one, 6 questions.
Oh, no.
3 apiece, and whoever answers the most gets the coveted Hammered Trophy right here.
Oh.
So today's trivia.
What's the topic?
No, I'm rude. I show off the trophy.
But you're a contestant today, and you're really going to need to
I'm always
focus.
a contestant.
Yes, you are.
Hey, wait a minute.
show,
You're
I'm
gonna
a
need it. You're gonna need a
contestant.
lobby loafer to be a contestant.
We're going to talk about lobby loafers here in a minute. But first, we're going to go ahead and see who is the best at hammer trivia.
Uh-oh.
All right.
What's
So
today's topic?
today's topic is
Don't say master.
Baiting.
no, but it's pretty close.
All right.
It's
Oh,
on
shit.
Willie's. Said Sweet Willie's here. We're talking about Willie's.
Okay, that's right. Here we go. There's always something fun with
It's
Willy.
sort of kind of like the silverback gorilla's penis is one average is 2.5 centimeters long. This helps explain like what this trivia is going to be about. It's going to be about Willie's, which is slang for penises.
Oh, here we
All
go.
right.
We're having fun now.
So, Sweet Willie.
Yes, sir.
You are first on deck.
Shoot me the Willy.
Which of the following has the largest willy? Is it a banana slug, a silverback gorilla, a chimpanzee, or an orangutan?
I am going to say the orangutan.
The orangutan? That is wrong.
Oh, no.
The correct answer is a banana slug.
No way,
What
man.
is a banana slug? Oh my God.
How long is...
That sounds like slang for a willy.
I think I need to Google a banana slug. Right
Yeah,
quick.
I have never seen the banana slug. I thought that was a catch-22 in there.
So probably like in its body mass relation.
That's what I was
Probably-
thinking.
That was my thought. I was still too busy like
Trying to
recovering
decipher. I was
from-
like, well, if I'm a banana slug, how big is my banana? So, that's what I was trying to
I
think.
feel like banana slug is very that. Never mind.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
let's just,
bong. I got
move
gong. I
on.
got gonged on that one.
So you got
Bong.
gong, you got the big barrack.
I got
All right,
burnt
so
on
Laura, you are up next.
Okay, come on, Laura, on the willies.
Is this a yes or this is a yes or no question?
Come on, Laura, on the willies. That didn't come out too good either.
Oh Lord, we're
It
following.
never comes out too good.
She's on her second drink. This is not
Okay, here
gonna
we
be
go.
good. Men with large feet also tend to have a large penis. Yes or no?
No.
Correct. Men with large feet also tend to have a large penis. Your answer no. Sorry, it's simply not true.
Yeah, you know what they
Good-
say-
Good for you. Laura's up 1. Sweet Willie
Zero. But you know what they say about a man that has big hands and big feet? You know what they say?
That's a goofy looking motherfucker.
No, he has big shoes, big gloves. That's all it
Oh.
says. That's all it means. It just
That
means he
was
wears
so-
big shoes and gloves. That's all it says.
All right, Sweet Willie. Here's your second question.
Okay, got to get the willy right now.
Which animal has the largest penis on the earth? The giant anaconda, the Great Barrier Reef, the blue whale, the African elephant.
I'm thinking the blue whale, my lord honey.
I'm going to say I think you got this one
I
right.
got to have the blue whale
That
on
is
that one.
correct.
I mean, we're talking.
We're
that's
talking
like,
blue whale right
that's
there,
a
man.
mile-long wiener.
Exactly.
It's longer than this house, probably.
Good
Yeah.
God Almighty.
On average, it's between 8 and 10 feet.
Go whale.
Yeah. However, in relation to its
Ouch.
body, the whale's massive willy is actually pretty average. It has a ratio of 1 to 10 penis to body length. The average human has a ratio of 1 to 12. So
right.
if that breaks that down for you. Learn
I
something
think
every
that's
time
good
you
to
listen to an
know.
episode of Hammer Kids.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You got to watch that. Watch it.
So with the way we stand right now, we have 2
Tie.
questions for Sweet Willie. He's got 1. 1 question for you. You've got 1. So to take the lead, true or false?
She
Men-
gets the easy ones, true and false, man. Anybody can flip a coin.
I always get the easy
I-
one.
Anybody can
I
flip
think
a coin,
She is getting
man.
these easy ones. Men can be born with 2 penises. True or false?
True.
She is getting these easy ones. Yes,
Yeah.
the condition is called diphallus.
Have you
and
ever seen
there
it?
are only around 100 cases reported worldwide currently. Last year, the first case of 3 penises was recorded. Whoa.
3.
Grief. What?
I know.
Two.
I know you can work a menage a trois, but a menage a trois?
No, menage a trois.
Is that it? Is that how you do that? Menage a trois?
Ooh.
that sounds like too much work, man.
I'm definitely going to have to look that one up. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Anyway, which bird has the
What?
longest shalong? Is it the Argentinian
It's
duck?
Michael Bird.
Michael Bird. I was going to say that. Michael Bird. Yeah, Bob. Got that one right. Why is Laura the one laughing
You
so
know
hard?
what? She's like not allowed to drink more than one drink. in the
Why is
toast,
she laughing
Alex.
so hard when she's talking about Michael Bird's weenie?
I don't know.
Look, he asked the question. I'm sorry I stole the answer.
I am totally glutton for punishment on this
Yeah,
episode.
I got that
I
one
just
right.
Set myself up.
I feel like that was a high compliment.
That was good.
I'll take it. Thank you. I would toast you, but I don't have anything to drink.
That was the last time you beat up on her. She left you hanging, bro. Ah!
You know what? Back to this important Hammer trivia quiz.
Rarely does it.
Because the pressure's on Sweet Willy, because if he gets this wrong, he loses.
Okay, I'm
'Cause
listening.
you have you've got two
We
right.
like a little pressure on
Yes.
Willy.
Yeah, we do. You got to have some pressure on
I
Willie.
will never do another quiz when it has to do with
You
sexual
brought
parts
this
of the
upon
body.
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, what'd you think, bro? Oh, you just said something. Well, great.
Which bird has the largest schlong again? Okay.
here we
The
go.
Argentinian duck, the European swan, the African emu, or the American vulture? It's a tough one.
It is.
It could be hard.
It could be, but I
Could be
don't
a
know.
very hard question.
I'm gonna say the emu, man. I'm shoot for the emu.
The African emu? That is wrong.
Ah,
Oh, no.
damn, I don't
Can I
know.
guess?
The correct.
Can I guess?
Sure.
I'm going vulture.
That is not right either.
Oh.
Bah, we both got going.
Yeah, I should like subtract one of her points. Just
No,
I
for
think
you
you.
so,
should
too.
not.
So the correct answer is the Argentinian duck. The Guinness World Record for longest penis amongst birds belongs to the Argentinian lake duck. The scientifically dubbed Oxygura vittata is known to extend its corkscrew-shaped appendage
Dang, go boy.
to lasso females.
Lasso.
Oh.
Can I get his
Corkscrew.
number?
When it's not flinging, it's a ding-a-linging, like Spider-Man shooting his web. It's assumed the Argentinian lake duck dangles its penis in the water like bait and
They
That's
wraps
what
her
it
up.
attacks small
Wraps
prey.
her up.
Imagine if that's how
We did
human men attracted
Wow.
females, just dangling shit.
And then all you do is grab it and it rolls you right up.
And I just never
Rolls you
mind.
right up.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Have to try this out. Try it out.
What's my question? Oh, did I win?
I got it wrong, so
It
that's
sounds
two
like
down.
I won.
I
You already
think
beat me, man.
Laura did win.
It sounds like I know more about Willy's than Willy does.
Dang, man, that's embarrassing, man.
Well, if Sweet Willy knew a lot about Willies, I would have to like
Y'all
question.
Yeah,
literally
see.
own
I know why
one.
there's rainbow in his.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a little bit of every which way. You know?
Literally own one. What's the last question?
The last question. All right, hold on, just for shits and giggles here. When was the first penis? What are you doing over there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what's the question?
Oh my God, that is his thumb, ladies and gentlemen. We will not get kicked off YouTube for that. For those of you listening, Sweet Willy just
Oh,
stood
I'm
up
sorry,
and put
man. I
his
forgot that
thumb
was
in his.
I forgot that was
shorts
live.
and,
That was a thumb shot. You know.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
trying to
the-
fix my zipper while I was sitting down, and my thumb came out.
That's
there.
what's called the thumb shot.
That was a thumb shot, really. So I'm thumbs up on everything right now.
Okay, so Laura, when was the first penis shown on TV? 87, 57, 77, 67, or who gives
See,
a
I had to
fuck?
break her concentration. Is what I had to do, man. I'm trying every trick in the book.
What were the years again?
87, 57, 77, 67. That's the last time you get it read.
87.
87. That is wrong. It was 1957. The first penis was shown on British television in 1957 during an episode of a documentary series, Out of Step. Presenter Daniel Farson visited a nudist colony and there you go, nudist colony. That's all you got.
That's very interesting
But-
because, like, sitcoms in the 50s had the husband and the wife in separate beds in the same room to avoid any kind of,
Yeah.
Activities.
right.
Activities.
Right. So my question is, and I'm assuming either of you gentlemen could answer this. Did your parents have two separate twin beds in the master bedroom, or?
No.
No.
Okay, so it was just done for television purposes.
My
Oh,
parents slept in two separate bedrooms, actually.
My dad, he was he was doing some serious serious work back in them days. He was a pretty active cat back in them days.
Why did my microphone just fall?
I don't know. You got issues over there. What's going on?
No, I think it's totally healthy for couples to have like their separate spaces for sure. I remember watching, TV shows and like, sitcoms and seeing two separate like twin size beds in the master bedroom, and the husband and wife like kiss each other goodnight and go to their separate beds, and I'm like, is that real? Like, did that happen? Was that how things were?
I think maybe on a Brady Bunch or something like that, probably.
Exactly.
The Brady Bunch,
yes, keeping it like super family friendly.
Well, that's the way my parents were. Like, my mom had a bedroom downstairs, and my dad had a bedroom upstairs, and they could not coexist in the same bedroom because my dad had so much shit, and then my mom had stuff. They could put all that in one bedroom. There's no way.
I
don't know how couples share bedrooms, actually.
A lot of questions.
Yeah. My need for privacy. Yeah.
We won't get into this on the podcast, but that answers a lot of questions I've ever had about you.
Here we go. And where were we?
We're going to bring this back on track.
And where were we?
So, Sweet Willy, you are the definition of like entrepreneur. You built the Sweet Willy brand surf shop. You a carpenter, I'm assuming. You build houses.
Yeah, build houses still, yeah.
You do all kinds of stuff. I was impressed. That area you live in going into Jacksonville, I want to call it Sweet Willyville because it's like you own that corner right there.
Well, I did. I built that up. And actually, it was 4 separate pieces of property when I developed that. Yeah. And I offered them all at the same time. I presented offers to all individual owners, and Lance Cracker people were the ones that owned the corner, and I looked up and seen and talked to them, see if they'd be interested in selling. And when I did convince all 4 sellers to sell it, then I combined it all into that one track. And I was going to either build a mini storage complex like I did put out there, or I also was going to put a BP gas station. I had Cary Oil at a Cary, North Carolina, that was going to put all the gas and do all the signage. All I had to do was run the retail side of it, which I just came out of the surf shop. And the reason I sold the surf shop is because we were there for 15 years, and then they built all the Wings and the Eagles and the Gypsy stores is what I call them. And it's just they take the tourist dollar away from you. They built 4 of those in 1 year.
I'm just going to say I'm never going to shop at an Eagles again.
I mean, it's Wings. It's just like the Myrtle Beach on every corner. So, I mean, there's Wings, Eagles, Pacific Traders, and then Bert's actually built him a brand new shop down closer at the other end of the island. So I had 4 big retail stores open up in 1 year. So I watched my numbers go from $600,000-700,000 down about $200,000-250,000, and it costs you $200,000-250,000 to stay in business by the time you buy your inventory, pay your insurance, taxes, and all the business side of it.
So let's go back. So when those surf shops, Eagles and the other ones opened up, did they have Billabong and all this stuff?
No, they don't. They all China.
Like a true brand name.
They're just touristy, cheap towels, cheap swimwear. They get their own. They have them made by manufacturers over in China, and they just stock 1,000,000 stores. I mean, it's just. When you buy from a mom and pop store like me, you're getting quality merchandise. When you buy it from some of them places, they just print and you wash it 2 or 3 times, the ink's gone on it. They just want something that says Emerald Isle on it, the tourists do. Mm-hmm. But it still takes you and knocks your dollars out. So what I ended up doing after I put up a year or 2 of that, then I ended up selling my store and went into Jacksonville in that military market, and that's when I built that Aloha storage facility. And I was ahead of the game back then as well. I mean, because right now there's one of them storage facilities on every corner. But back 25 years ago, there was only one here, one there. But I had the foresight to see the need for the storage business. Yeah. And where I built it, it was kind of off the beaten. There weren't a bunch of houses around there, so I was wondering if I'd be able to fill it up. But over the years, sprawl with building and everything came out that side of town. Now I'm on it. They put a stoplight there. Now it's a cash cow. It's been paid for. And
man, you got like billboards up there too. It's a shame all your billboards are taken right now because you could throw Sweet Willy's.
I know, but I mean,
beach splits up there.
That was one of the smartest things I ever did was built that billboard there. I mean, you got 4 panels on it, and you rent them for $800 a piece. So you got $3,200 coming in off of that times 12 months. That's almost 40 grand a year just sitting there.
So you got another venture coming out right now, and I'll show it to everybody that's watching this for if you're listening.
Another cool.
It's going to be the same thing, but I don't know if you can see them that well.
Yeah, you can see them.
But what are these things? Tell us about those. It's like they're not cardboard cutouts. This is made out of wood material, and they're like 7 feet tall, 6 foot tall.
They're actually 8 foot. I make them out of a 4x8 sheet of MDF plywood. And I take the figures and I print the figures on the computer and I blow them up to be 5 or 6 foot tall. I measure down from my neck, so if I'm standing behind the figure, I want them to be the same height as most people's necks. And what the concept is when you have those circus and you go and you got a clown and you stick your face in there and you get your picture taken. That's basically all you really have seen, a couple of that kind of a clown here, a clown there. Well, I took that concept. And then I went and if you got Muscle Beach in California where all them guys are lifting weights and they're putting oil all over them, it's actually a place on the beach. So I decided to come up with my own characters of Muscle Beach for the surf contest. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually building a little room. It's 18 wide, 24 foot deep that I just flag off. So you have to come in through the front of the room. And over the top I'll have Sweet Willy's Muscle Beach, and there'll be a character out there. And then what I do is I put them and I put PVC on them and behind them, and I stick them on the ground, and you get your picture taken behind. But I'm cutting the heads off. So if you ever have a hat or you have a big sun hat or something, that you'll get your picture taken. But I call them Lobby Loafers is the name that I designed for them.
Lobby Loafers.
And the reason I call them that is because every lobby that you could think of, a car dealership lobby, a restaurant lobby, a hotel lobby, any place where you have people that are sitting there waiting, they have their name called, or, car dealership is a perfect example. You got 4 or 5 salesmen that sit right here, let me go talk to my boss. They're always beating around the numbers. But outside in their lobby, I got one of these characters that you have the people can take their picture with. So Toyota, come over here and get your deal from Toyota or whatever, and they stand in there and they get behind it and take their pictures. And so each one of these businesses that has a lobby, I believe, is a need for a lobby loafer. And when you see them and you see how tall they are, they're really big and they're unique. There's nothing like that out there. And my whole intent is when they get there on the beach, and you got 8 or 10 of these characters in one area, what you're going to have is everybody that's going to be watching the surfing contest or anybody that's in the contest are having fun, but you're going to also have thousands of people that are just looking as a spectator that wants to have something to do. So once they go over there and they find this Muscle Beach area, every one of them is going to take their camera out and they're going to take pictures of their friends and get behind her. And then inside the area that I've got the characters, I'm also building props where I took these old big styrofoam balls, about that big around, and I put a broomstick in between them. I painted them black, and now I'm writing 500 pounds on each side of it. So you got mock dumbbells, and I got some small ones. So if you're standing getting your picture taken, I can be holding one of these dumbbells, and your girl could be taking our picture, and you're going to have so much fun. Now, subliminally, I'm having to put over the top of these characters. I got an area that I have sponsored by Hooters, sponsored by Coastal Bank. But I'll have some funny lines, that I'll put up there and I'll take their artwork and distort it and make it fun for just to match the character. But every time someone takes their picture and goes home and blows it up on the wall, they're going to see Hooters. They're going to see plugs for the sponsors that put the money up. So it's a win-win for the sponsor. It's creative for the customer. And on the bottom is where you'll see www.sweetwilliesurfs.com. The part that is really creative is now when you get your picture taken, each one of these characters, I put names on them. So one of the female characters is one of my finest. Her name is Dizzy Stars. And so when you get your picture taken with Dizzy, when you go to my website, there will be T-shirts of Dizzy, a visor of coffee cups, coolie cups of these characters. But the neat thing I'm making is dog tags. So each dog tag will have a figure on the front, and on the back of the dog tag you'll have the name of the event, the Sweet Willy Surf Blitz at Emerald Pier. But you know how them kids usually trade things. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted the Sweet Willy's character kit, there'll be 8 of these characters. that today you can wear Ramon, tomorrow you can wear Slim, next day you can wear Dizzy, and you would trade them to your friends. So it's creative ideas that, that I seen the niche and I'm just excited about, just like I was when I started my surf shop. Mm-hmm. One thing I miss about my surf shop the most is when you go to a trade show, you buy the merchandise. They got the hottest girls up there in the slimmest bikinis. You want to buy every one of them that you see, but your customer isn't like that. You got to think about your customer that's coming in your store. So these swimwear lines put the queen bees that are 12s up there, and they got the slinkiest little bikini. Guy like me is out there, oh, yeah, that looks good. Yeah. I'll take some of them. But you got to be able to sell them, So if they sit in your store and they're not selling out the door, you're just wasting money based on you just having a good time. So you got to be able to know your market and really merchandise your store currently. But that's where I miss the most about my store is the merchandising of the store. When you order all these merchandise, UPS drops off 10 boxes to you. Boom, boom, boom. Now you got a box. Now you got to bring that box of merchandise to life, and do the different things inside your store. In my store, when I wanted people to, if I asked you, how do you like my store? I would want them to say it's unique. That was the word I was always trying to get out of everybody. That's a unique store. It's different. He changes it all the time. And that's like these characters. Like my idea about these characters putting in lobby loafers is like a car dealership. I want to go in there and approach them. And I'll bring you in January. I'll bring you in Mr. New Year's Eve. And I'll set it in his lobby. And all his customers will take his pictures. During the whole month of January, you'll be enjoying Mr. New Year's Eve. And then here comes February. I'll bring in Mr. Valentine. And I showed you Ramon. You've seen Ramon up on if you look at Ramon, you bring in Mr. Valentine and change them out. Come March, you got Mr. The Leprechaun. Come April, you bring in the Jester. So you trade these customers out, and they're signed. So as the owner of the car dealership, you're not getting bored. You're like, what's he going to bring in here next? You have no idea. So your concept has many avenues to branch off. I told my son the other day, I said, the first one, another one I'm going to go to is Hilton. I'm going to go talk to the Hiltons up there. Because if you sell one, you sell 100.
Make one of Paris. Maybe she'll and send it to her on Instagram. Maybe she'll be like, I like this Sweet Willy.
That's what you do. Yeah. If you're not afraid to get out there and challenge like that. Yeah. But my point is, if you sell one to a big company like that has 100 stores, if you can get in the door at one, they want them in every one of their stores.
One of those would look really good in the new Sweet Willy store. That would look good in Sweet Willy Surf Shop. Yeah.
Sweet Will. We're going to have Sweet Will. I got to have a character.
Are you messing with that idea? Does it ever come back and you be like, hey,
no, what I think is really cool, I'd be honest with you, I think it's really cool what I'm doing now is I'm using my 10, 15 years of Sweet Willy Surf Shop to my advantage. Mm-hmm. I don't even have a retail store. But my reputation, my logo, and everything is strong enough to lean on to start this business just with my name and my logo. I think that's really strong to be able to, now with today's times, they use the social media out there to go ahead and begin a business. I don't even need a store. What I do, and here's how it works, is on my characters, for instance. Let's just use the merchandise, for instance. In my surf shop, if I had a surf shop, I'd have to stock 100 T-shirts in one style and one size, and I've got all these different sizes. So you have $100,000 of inventory sitting on the floor. Now all I do is market the product. If you wanted one of these visors with Ramon on there, I have a printer over here. That's all they do is print out, not just for me, that's their business. So they have the hats, they have the coolie cups, they have the inventory. All I do is sell it and then market it and then ship it. They make it for me based on my work orders. That way I don't have to have a warehouse full of inventory. All I do is call up, hey, Sally, I need 10 Ramon shirts, 15 Slim coffee cups, and whatever. And so what I call them on my website, I'm just now developing this, I call them BOAs, Bundle of Aloha. So when you call up and you get on the website, if you wanted a $25 bundle of Aloha, you would get one of our T-shirts, which we sell $25. But you'll get a T-shirt, you get some of the stickers, you'll get a bundle of different Sweet Willy merchandise. Now, if you go up to 35, 45, you get the Muscle Beach character kit. You'll get, a bunch of the different items that we'll have on the program. So I'm able to take my old business, shape a new modern business, and based on my creativity, what can you do with it? And I've been building houses steadily. I was in the surf industry 15 years. When I sold it, I started building houses, build commercial building. I've been very successful, pretty much the businesses I deal with, because I'm upfront, I'm honest. I treat people like I want to be treated. You have good character, have fun to be around. That's all you need to be true. You're blessed by the Lord. That's the Most High. So if you got all them in your background, and then you throw your family, my mom and dad, they're nothing but aloha. I mean, that's all they were, is beach, island style. Passed it on to me, and it stuck. I'm deep. And aloha it's a way of life. That's what I want to make sure everybody understands. It's just not a word. Aloha, true aloha, if it's in your spirit, it's the way we live, the way we eat, the way we communicate, the way we help people. It's just passing through this 100 years. It's what the Lord wants you to do, is be aloha. So, and that's where we take everything I had is aloha storage, aloha creative designs. And that's the reason. It's because it's my lifestyle. It's me. Sweet Willy's aloha. If you get around them, rubs on you. You want to be, it's just good spirit, man. Good spirit's nice in today's times, for sure.
Oh, yeah, especially the world we live in right now. It's kind of crazy out there.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's just Sweet Willy is infectious.
It does.
Yep.
It's just
Is there a vaccine for that?
Well, it's just, once you get hooked, it's like Emerald Isle. It hooks you, and you just, it's part of your lifestyle. I couldn't imagine not getting up and walking on the beach and smell the salt air and listen to the birds, and then go talk to the tourists and bust on their balls a little bit for, fishing and what they're doing.
Wow.
And then go in the sound, and on the way to go fishing, you throw a couple crab pots out to go fishing. On the way back in, you got fish, you pick your crab pots up, you got your crabs in there, and it's just fresh.
I have a quick question for you. You said, you wake up every day, you smell that ocean air. We recently spent some time with friends of his who live in Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. And one of the girls who we were talking to was like, I don't even smell it anymore. It was like the first thing that hits me, when I come across any kind of
water.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
water.
I smell it. I feel it. It's in my molecules.
Yeah, you do.
Do you still smell it?
Yeah,
all this time?
every time I go over Emerald Bridge, when I'm working on the mainland, and this is actually the first time I've lived on the mainland. Even when I was young, I moved out of my house when I was 15. And here's something funny, because I was telling you about my dad with the flat top. So now when I'm a little older, and we had the trailer, by this time we went from tents, a little pull-out trailer. Then my mom ended up buying this tiny little mobile home behind Dairy Queen up in there on the main road, on the back road. But it was physically a regular mobile home. Yeah, so when you grow up on there, every day you get up and you go out there and crossing over that Emerald Bridge. So this is the first time I lived on the mainland, like I was saying. So when I go over Emerald Bridge, it's just like your whole spirit just relaxes. You can be tight, you can have a lot of problems, but as soon as you go over that bridge, and I've been doing it for 50 years or 40 because the bridge ain't been there that long. But when you go over the bridge, it just seems like your spirit just hits the beach and the water.
I feel like not everyone gets that. Like, I grew up on the coast. I was raised in coastal Delaware. So I'm so fortunate to have gotten to spend all that time in a clean, pristine, where you're smelling ocean, and it's pure and it's rich, and that's just a sensation I wish for everyone. Like, it is truly freeing. And I lived in Key West for a short amount of time, but the first time I went to Key West, you're crossing over the 7 Mile Bridge, and it feels like you're in the sky, and like you're looking
tranquil.
at the ocean.
It's tranquil. I always say it's tranquil.
It is. It truly changes you, and I don't know. It was just kind of wild to me to hear that statement. Like, I don't even smell it anymore. Yeah. When I would inject that, like I would pay to just be surrounded by that sense, that smell.
Yeah,
that
just the sounds of the ocean.
Yes.
Every day's different. Today, the wind was blowing out of the south. Tomorrow it's out of the southeast, west. It changes. You got the sounds of the ocean when it's. What's so funny to me, sometimes there'll be hardly no waves. But the wind will be blowing on shore. So it sounds like there's this monster swell out there. And you'll just be hearing the sounds of the ocean. And it's so quiet that you're hearing the smallest of the little waves just going, and you're like, whoa, but that's how quiet it is. Mm-hmm. And when you go down there, you think it's ripping, and you're going, daggone, that's all it was? Is that little
2 footers, beep.
And then when the wind's howling and the waves are big, you don't hear the waves. So what I did, here's what some of the stuff that passing through as kids. Well, we used to be able to sleep on the pier. Now there used to be 8 piers on the island. Now they're down to 2 with all the hurricanes and all the years. They're at Bogue Inlet Pier, and the next one's up at like Oceana, up Atlantic Beach. But there used to be Emerald Pier, Twin Piers, Sportsman's Pier, all these piers up and down the beach. So you used to be able to sleep on the beach, have fires on the beach. All that's changed on over the years. But some of the cool things that I did, one time I made me, and I still do, I took the concept of a windsurfer, the windsurfers with the surfboards that they're out in the water, okay? I took the mask off of a windsurfer board, and I built me a skateboard as long as this table. And then I bought me a pair of little 12-inch Michelin tires, little small tires. And then I took, if you rode skateboards, the truck is what holds the tire on the bottom of the skateboard. That truck, and then you put the wheels on. Well, I extended one of these trucks and put it under the bottom of this board. And I had my wheel span in the front was only this far, like the nose of the board, and then the 2 wheels is
like
this.
a skim board?
No, it's a big board that's going.
Okay.
What I designed it to do is go down the beach on the hard sand. When you have the tide that goes low, you got that hard sand. So I made a sail. I put it right on the front of this skateboard. And now I got the wind pushing me. But I'm on the beach. No one's seen. They're always in the water. So this thing I'd get, and the only time I really take it out is when the wind's honking. If it's light wind, it'd blow you down the beach a little bit, and then all of a sudden, if there's not enough wind, you can be walking. So I want to make sure the wind's honking. And then when the wind's honking, there ain't no one on the beach because you're getting sand blasted because of the wind. So that's what I said. What can you do? Because it would be too rough to surf. But I'd have all this wind, and I sailed. I'm a Hobie Cat sailor. I mean, I did a lot of sailing, too. Delivered a bunch of boats for a lot of these people got the money. We delivered them to Jamaica and delivered boats when we were young. Did a lot of shit, man. I'm telling you, loaded with water stuff. But I'd have to wear a whistle, because what happened is the mom's laying on the beach, the kid's in the water right there where she can see him, and you look down the beach and you see the sail. And it's coming. And I've had this thing going 30, 35 mile an hour. I'm flying. If I hit your kid, it could hurt him. So I wear a whistle. And I'm holding the sail. And the way if you're sailing, when I pull the sail in, that's power to push. If I want to slow down, I let the sail off. I let the wind off the sail. Your wind is your speed. So if I pull it in, I'm going. If I let the wind off, I'm slowing down. So and I can only go on the hard sand. I can't go in the water, and I can't go in the soft sand. So you got to play the tide. You got to watch what the tide's doing. So when the tide's low and I'm honking, I'll say, "Come give me a ride to the beach and pick me up." Like the next pier was like 6 miles down the beach. So I'd say, by the time you drive your car, good chances I'm going to be there if I just hold it into the wind. And I'd fly down the beach. And I'd be blowing my whistle, because the lady would get up and she'd go to run and get her kid. And I'd like, hold still, hold still. I'd be right by her that fast. But some of them I have to because they get all squirrely, and I have to let the wind off my sail. Luckily, I never really ate crow because I'm flying down the beach. And then after I stop, then I just get going, take a few steps, pull, and start going again. And there was one place on the beach, like when you snow ski, if you all snow ski and you hit ice, there's no steering when you're snow skiing. Same thing on this board. There's a part of the beach where the waves would wash up on the beach. So the incline of the beach was like this. Instead of being like this with the tide, the beach was at an incline. I've already been sailing down the beach for about a couple miles. Now here's this one section of the beach I know I'm going to come up against. And the soft shells that would wash up made it so you couldn't have no steering. So I'd get going, I'd get on my tack, and I'd go, okay, it's maybe about 50, 75 feet long, and I'd have to make sure I hold it straight. And because my board, sometimes the back of the board would come all the way around here. I'd have to win. I'd go, oh, God, and I'd have to pull it back with my feet. But I'd be flying. I'd go, if I hit crow now and tumble, I'm going to get hurt. But I'd be like this and be like that. And then as soon as I hit the hard beach again, it'd take right off. So, but I'd be blowing whistle, keeping everybody out of my way. So my friends say, well, why don't you build them and sell them? Why don't you?
That's what I was thinking.
Here's the reason I did.
That sounds like a hot fucking mess up and down the coast.
No, what would happen is I'd cut my own throat. Because if I had 2 or 3 people doing it and you hit somebody, then the people are going to go, nah, brr. no more of them on the beach.
That's a whole mess.
You know, no more. So I'm the only one that made it. I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to have it. Even right now, when it's windy, you'll see Sweet Will out there. I'll go right to the pier. You take 2 steps, sheet it in, let it roll.
Well, Sweet Willy, I mean, we're going to have you back on because, I mean,
It never
we
ends,
could
man.
probably
We got
keep
stories
going and
for
going and
days.
going. But we got some mackerel steaks we got to eat and prepare.
Sounds like a plan,
I
man.
am
You're
getting to
welcome.
that point.
That's fresh. That's what the mermaid caught. See, we put mermaid for her name up there. When my buddy said, "What'd you catch?" I said, "Well, a mermaid for start off with," and then she caught it daggone king mackerel on the back of the boat. Now,
Everybody
her
gets
friend,
like, it was just her turn on the.
I
on the
said,
ride
and
that
her
time.
boyfriend, he caught 4 or 5 sharks, man. You know, we all
Right.
caught sharks.
Very
you know?
dangerous fish, I caught. Thank
You know, we had to reel in the sharks while Laura caught the king.
Say though, in the fishing experience, the mackerel it was easier to bring in for some reason. The sharks
Yeah.
were putting up more of a fight.
Well,
than
the king,
mackerel
the king's
were.
going to give you a blistering run. That's when he's.
It felt like it took forever to bring the king mackerel.
Well, and the
in.
reason it's like that is we're fishing light tackle. We're giving the fish a chance. I mean, I could go up there and upgrade tackle and be real heavy and catch one and just reel it in. That's no sport, and that's no challenge for him. What happens with a king mackerel, the type of bait that you're using, those menhaden, and the type of rig I use where I put one hook in the nose of the bait and let the other one hang free. A king mackerel sees the silhouette. So he comes up from the bottom, and when he cuts the tail off of the fish, he hits the tail, which is the propulsion. He just makes that fish lay there. Then he comes back and eats them. A lot of times what will happen, he'll come up and he'll hit, and when he turns away, that trail and treble hook snags him. So 99% of the time when you catch a live bait fishing for one, he's foul hooked. So, I mean, when he eats it, then it's good. That's when the first thing, when you got it close to the boat, first thing I'm looking to see how he's hooked.
Where's the hook?
Where's the hook? And then your fish, it was just barely underneath the teeth. He wasn't even in the skin. It wasn't hooked. When we got that fish in the boat, that rig fell right out, which means if you would have let that get slack,
He would have been gone.
He would have been gone. That's why I kept telling you, give me a little one. Laura did a great job on the other end of that rod. I was telling her, give me
She
a
was
little
working that rod.
I
that's
tell her,
for sure.
if I say, give me a little one, she'd pull up.
I know
Really?
how to work a rod.
Oh, Lord. have
Exactly,
mercy.
yeah, all the way to the boat.
That being said, hey, so we got what's June the 25th and 26th, 2022.
Exactly.
We got Sweet Willie's Beach Blitz. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to go check it out.
Yeah, check it out
Sounds
on
like
the-
a fucking party.
It's
I
a
love
good time.
party.
I mean, you know, I'm running the show, so if the captain steers the boat in the right direction, you'll have fun. Bring everybody you know. Get on the website, check it out, because we're going to continuously upgrade and update everybody.
Tell
so-
them where your website. How if somebody wants to find out, get in contact with Sweet Willie, how can they do that?
Please just go to our website, which is www.sweetwillysurfs. No breaks in between it. sweetwillysurfs.com. Go to that website, and then from there we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we got YouTube, we have all the other social media networks that we can tap into. But go to there, stay up in tune, chase out, get a T-shirt from us, and then we'll
Hey.
show the beach characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, they can call and text you at 910-389-6449 also.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, you got anything else, Laura, before we go?
All I'm saying is I'm going to be in the bikini contest. So,
There you go.
if
So,
for nothing
bias
else,
judge.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody, come see
if for
Laura, man,
nothing
first,
else,
front and center.
come check me out in a
Come-
bikini.
There's no doubt you'll be more than happy. Ain't no doubt about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sweet Willie, let's end the show on you playing us a little tune on your harmonica right there.
All right, yeah, I might be able to
There we
do
go.
that. Get a little.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on this episode of Hammered. If you were listening to us, check us out next time.
Here's a harmonica.
Woo!
Uh-uh.